Okay. Hi everyone, and welcome to this workshop. My name is Sarah. I'm founder of SceneStock Rentals. SceneStock is a production gear rental marketplace, kind of like Airbnb but for production gear. We also host free workshops to navigate how the Canadian film and media production work. This is our first workshop. You can find the details of our upcoming events on our social media. I'll be sharing all the links with you soon. Today we have the pleasure of having Isa Decker, Director of Outreach and Industry Development from ACTRA Toronto. Hi, Isa again, and thanks so much for accepting my invitation and then joining us for today's presentation. Would you like to give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Sure, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Teza Decker, and as Sarah said, I am the Director of Outreach and Industry Development at ACTRA Toronto. So my role includes connecting with emerging filmmakers, producers, content creators, and performers to educate and inform all about ACTRA. So this session is designed to connect with emerging filmmakers and performers to discuss ACTRA, why union membership is key for professionals, how to become a union member, how producers can engage union performers. So we've got 4 sections in tonight's discussion. Basically, what is ACTRA, the benefits of membership and how to join, how to work with ACTRA performers, and then we'll have time for a Q&A. But before I start talking about how wonderful our members are, I thought I would start with a video where you can see some of ACTRA Toronto's talented members. So let's talk about unions. What is a union? Well, a union is an organization that is formed by workers with the goal of negotiating with the employer for wages and working conditions. So unions negotiate collective agreements with the employer. And so whether you are in front of the camera or behind the camera, it's important to know about the various unions and guilds that are in the Canadian sector. So we've got ACTRA, of course, and then the Directors Guild of Canada, IATSE, and there are various different locals, Unifor NABET 700M, and of course the Writers Guild of Canada. But tonight we're here to talk about ACTRA. So what is ACTRA? ACTRA is the union representing performers in recorded media across Canada, and ACTRA stands for the Alliance of Canadian Cinema, Television, and Radio Artists. Our members work in the English language recorded media in Canada, and we have 30,000 members from coast to coast to coast across 9 branches. All these little dots on the map here are where ACTRA offices are located. Now, there are 9 branches, but I work with ACTRA Toronto, which is the largest branch. We have 15,000 of the 30,000 members across the country. ACTRA is a member-driven organization, and ACTRA is an advocate for Canadian culture and has been since its inception in 1943. ACTRA continues to secure the rights and respect for the work of professional performers in Canada. ACTRA Toronto is governed by a council of elected members of the union. So we have a council of 24 full members who are elected by their fellow members. And with the support of union staff, they act essentially as the board of directors for our union. And they follow the ACTRA Toronto bylaws, the ACTRA national bylaws, and ACTRA national constitution. You can find out a little bit more about ACTRA and our over 80-year history at actratoronto.com/about-us. As a union, ACTRA's objectives are threefold: organize, bargain, and advocate. So when we talk about organizing, that essentially means bringing in new productions to procure work opportunities for the membership. It also refers to the work being done to build our membership and encourage more performers to join ACTRA. We always want more members to join our union. When we talk about bargaining, that's in reference to negotiating collective agreements. Bargaining is a huge part of what we do at ACTRA. we have various different agreements with the employers. So our employers are studios, broadcasters, producer organizations, et cetera, et cetera. Most of our collective agreements are in 3 years in duration, and ACTRA prepares for bargaining well ahead of when we actually go into negotiations. So later on in this presentation, I will chat a little bit more about our various different agreements you might be interested in as a producer. Lastly, let's talk advocacy. Now, ACTRA advocates for its membership. So we lobby and we promote the economic and artistic value of this sector. So this includes promoting inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility in the industry, lobbying for Canadian content protections, connecting with all levels of government about protecting performers in the age of AI, and much, much more. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does ACTRA do? We negotiate and enforce agreements. So these agreements set out wages and working conditions for our members. So as an example, this is the Independent Production Agreement, and it is our agreement covering film, television, animation, documentary, industrial lifestyle, and new media content. And we negotiate that with the Canadian Media Producers Association. This is a really, really key part of what ACTRA does, ensuring members have a safe work environment. So ACTRA's contracts stipulate safety, health and safety. So we keep children safe on set. For example, children can't work overtime. Children missing a certain amount of school must get tutoring, etc. We have requirements such as there must be clean drinking water on set for performers. There must be places to sit down. There has to be spots where performers' belongings can be secured and are in a safe area. There's much, much more in our agreements, but essentially ACTRA is really concerned with health and safety, and we want to make sure that all productions have a safe work environment. ACTRA members are paid not only for their work sessions, but for the use of the recorded performance. So what does that mean? So if you're working on an ACTRA production and you are in a qualifying category, so that means not background work, you are paid for your time on set. If you're doing film, television, or if you are in the recording booth doing animation work, or if you're in the volume doing motion capture, you're paid for your time at the work session, and you're also paid for the distribution of that content. So, AKA residuals, and that's a really big part of what the union does, and that's really crucial for performers. I can't talk about the benefits of ACTRA without talking about benefits. ACTRA has an industry-leading insurance and retirement plan for performers via our friends at ACTRA Fraternal Benefit Society. So all members pay into their insurance and retirement program. And so when you work on an ACTRA contract, you pay a certain percentage of your earnings into your insurance and retirement. And the producer also pays 12% into that as well. So once a performer becomes a full member from an apprentice, they have access to their benefits. So when we talk about the type of benefits that AFBS administers, that can be things like classes, massage, prescriptions, mental health services, and really, really important RRSPs for your retirement. At ACTRA, we provide training opportunities for our members. We have an online portal for our member ed, and so you can do self-directed learning courses, and these cover our union agreements. We have a really great set etiquette and call sheet course, and a course on unconscious bias, plus much, much more. When you become an ACTRA member, you take a Respect on Set course, which is taught by ACTRA members, and I can't recommend this course enough. It's fantastic. It's all about learning respectful behavior on set and your rights and responsibilities as a member. At ACTRA, we have about 16 different committees that our members can join, and sometimes the committees will host their own workshops specific to that community. And of course, we have ACTRA Toronto member conferences, and these are free of charge. But really, truly, ACTRA sets on professional workplaces, and the employer needs to adhere to the wages and working conditions in the agreement. So we ensure that all ACTRA signatory productions are professional places to work. So let's talk about how to join ACTRA. ACTRA membership is open to Canadian citizens and those of permanent resident status. If you want information on how to join ACTRA, please visit actratoronto.com/how to join. There is so much information on our website, and I'll go through some of it now, but I think if you, there's really such great information there. So if you want to go to actratoronto.com/how to join to learn about all of our different member categories and how to become a member. When a performer joins ACTRA, they must only work on union contracts. So this applies to any membership category within the union. When a performer joins ACTRA, they are essentially making an agreement that they are only going to be working on union contracts because they are professionals and they deserve proper wages and working conditions. ACTRA members are bound to the Constitution and bylaws, which stipulate that a member must only work on ACTRA contracts. So there are different categories of membership within ACTRA, and tonight I'm going to talk about two different categories: apprentice membership and full membership. Now, we do have some other categories of membership, but tonight I'll be focusing specifically on apprentice and full membership. So how do you join ACTRA? How do you become an apprentice member? Well, step one is you audition. You go to an audition for an ACTRA signatory production in a qualifying performance category. So you are at that audition, you are auditioning against fellow pre-members of ACTRA. I don't like to use the term non-member, I like to say pre-members. So you're auditioning with other pre-members, apprentice members, and full members of ACTRA. And congratulations, the production liked you so much and they gave you the role. Now, as a non-member of ACTRA, you need to pay a work permit to be engaged on the production. So once you are confirmed and you get booked for the role, and before you go to work, you apply for an ACTRA work permit. So the work permit fees do vary depending on the type of production you're working under and what type of which agreement you're under. So don't worry if you don't know that right now. All of our permit fees are listed at actratoronto.com/permits, and you can always contact our staff and they will be able to help you out. And just a little bit about when we talk about qualifying categories, as an example, that would be if you're working under the independent production agreement, that would be principal, actor, stunt, dancer, singer, host, off-camera performer. If you're working under the commercial agreement, that would be principal or silent on camera. And if you're working under any of our broadcast agreements, such as the CBC or CTV agreements, that would be a speaking role. And if you're doing any voice work, any off-camera voice work in ACTRA's jurisdiction. So you've auditioned, you got the part, you've paid your work permit, and now you're invited to become an apprentice. When you are approved for your work permit and you pay your work permit fee, you are invited to join as an apprentice, as it is your first qualifying credit in ACTRA's jurisdiction. So the cost to become an apprentice is $75 per year. And once you have 3 qualifying credits in total as an apprentice, then you become a full member. So again, it's really just about getting that first credit, becoming an apprentice, and then you are an apprentice member until you get all 3. So now let's talk about full membership. Well, when you have your 3rd work permit, you are now eligible for full membership. The full member initiation fee is $1,600 plus annual dues. And I know $1,600 is not a small sum, but as an apprentice member, you can deduct any of your work permit fees as well as your apprentice member fee from the $1,600 initiation. So what does that mean? So if your work permit fees for the 3 engagements plus your ACTRA apprentice fee, for example, are $700 in total, then your initiation fee would be $1,600 minus $700, which is $900. Full member annual dues are $195. So as a full member, there are definitely benefits. You no longer pay work permits, and you get preference of engagement over all other non-member performers. You get to vote and run in ACTRA Toronto elections. So you could be, you can run for council, and you could submit fellow performers for the ACTRA Awards. But really, as a summary, because there are so many benefits to joining ACTRA, I don't want anyone to be like, oh, well, how do I get as far as full membership? Just focus on getting that first credit as an to get your apprenticeship. So everyone starts out as a non-member. Then upon earning your first qualifying credit on an ACTRA production, you're invited to become an apprentice. Then once an apprentice has 3 qualifying credits in total, you become a full member. So again, it's non-member, you get your first credit, you become an apprentice member, 2 more credits, and you're a full member. So it's a graduated process. All of that information is found at actratoronto.com/how to join. Also, if anyone watching is currently in a post-secondary performance program, we also have something called the new graduate credit. All of that information is at how to join at actratoronto.com/how to join. So why would you want to become an ACTRA member? Essentially, ACTRA is the largest organization of cultural workers in Canada. We are a cultural advocate, and we make sure that, this industry is seen not only as an important an important sector culturally, but also economically. And again, to become an ACTRA member, you are now a part of a professional organization with 30,000 like-minded artists. As a union member, you get protections under ACTRA contracts. So ACTRA members are paid fairly and on time. You are paid for your time, at work, on set, or in the booth, or in the volume. And you're also paid for the exploitation of that content via use fees, aka residuals. You get insurance and retirement benefits, which again are really, really crucial, especially as freelance gig workers. Being able to build up a retirement fund and have access to, healthcare, prescription, et cetera, is really, really key. As an ACTRA member, you get professional development opportunities, and these include, free workshops, master classes, and networking opportunities via our ACTRA Toronto member conferences. And of course, you have access to all of our free e-learning courses and Respect on Set, et cetera, et cetera. We always encourage our members to get involved in the union. ACTRA is member-driven. I am a staff person at ACTRA, and we have a wonderful team of staff who basically, administer the collective agreements, et cetera, et cetera. But really, the union is run by the members for the members. So we have an elected body. We have the ACTRA Toronto Council, which is 24 elected full members. They act as the board of directors for the union. And we also have various different committees that performers can join. And we always encourage performers to really get involved, join a committee. We have committees that work on annual initiatives. For example, we have an ACTRA Awards committee. We also, we have our folks who get together and talk about the member conference. There are groups such as our ACTRA Additional Background Performer Caucus, the Apprentice Caucus, our Stunt Committee. Our committees can research complex issues and report on council to that. So, for example, we have an AI subcommittee that was created as part of the Voice Committee, and they are so tuned in with what's happening with AI and making recommendations for what the union can do to ensure that they protect performers. And we also, some of our committees are really advocacy based. So, for example, ACTRA Age, our Diversity and Inclusion Committee, and the ACTRA Toronto Women's Committee. It's not all political and lobbying. We also have, of course, the ACTRA Awards. So this is our annual celebration of the wonderful skill and talent in our membership. We just had our ACTRA Awards not too long ago, and actually you can go on our website and check out the nominees and the winners. And so as an ACTRA member, you can nominate your fellow performers, or people will nominate you for wonderful work that you've done throughout the year. And I really want to flag that we have member spotlights. So let's say that you are in a short film that is going to be playing at a film festival. Please let us know. We would love to do a social media post and say, hey, check out James Smith's film playing an XYZ film festival, and we can post that on social. We also have member spotlights in our online ACTRA Performers magazine. As an ACTRA member, you have access to deals and discounts via Union Savings, and there's some other companies that provide discounts to ACTRA members. But really, as an ACTRA member, you are part of a community, and you're part of a national and international cultural community and labor union. ACTRA advocates for better cultural policies and a stronger industry in Canada, but we are also on the world stage as part of our membership with FIA, the International Federation of Actors. We're part of the Canadian Labour Congress, the Ontario Federation of Labour, and the Toronto and York Region Labour Council. We also have a strategic alliance with the United Steelworkers. So there are many, many benefits of membership, but really, truly, I think if you are pursuing a career as a professional performer, it's really important to be a member of ACTRA and see all the amazing work that ACTRA does and get involved with your union. If you have any questions about ACTRA membership, how to join, if you have questions about apprenticeship, whole membership, please don't hesitate to reach out. We have a wonderful team in our member services department, and you can reach them at membership@actratoronto.com. Okay, so to the content creators, the producers, the filmmakers, the web series creators, let's talk about working with ACTRA. So ACTRA members want to work with you. It doesn't matter if you're doing a tiny two-hander short film, or you're doing feature, web series, video game, audiobook, whatever you're doing, our members want to work with you no matter the budget. Developing a production Whether you are doing a short film or a feature or a web series, it takes a lot of time, from polishing your script to applying for funding to hiring your key creatives. It is a lot of work to make content. So some folks spend years developing their story. And so when it's time to go to camera, it's really key to engage wonderful professional ACTRA members. ACTRA Toronto members know their craft and they can bring your script to life. So professional performers come to set prepared. They've worked on developing their character and they can deliver quality performances take after take after take, which is really, really helpful when it comes to post. ACTRA members are talented artists and they are a key component to bringing your vision from page to the screen. So let's talk about getting the professionals, get ACTRA. So as I mentioned earlier, bargaining is a big part of what we do. So unions negotiate contracts on behalf of their members, and this process is called collective bargaining. In ACTRA's jurisdiction, that means we have different types of agreements with various different employers. So we have film, TV, digital, low budget, commercials, audio specific, and video games, just to name a few. If you would like to see all of ACTRA's agreements, you can go to actratoronto.com/agreements, and you can find all of our different contracts there. But let's talk about what's actually included in those contracts. So when we think about the independent production agreement, for example, our green book, what's included in the 300 some odd pages? Well, number one is safety on set, right? So again, we talked about health and safety. A big thing is, for example, if you are hired in a role that's, if your role is barista, you will not go to set and they say, oh, we know that we have giving you a couple lines saying, here's your coffee, ma'am. But we actually thought it'd be great if you could fall through that glass window and you see it shatter. That won't happen on an actress set because that is a stunt. And if they want stunts, they would talk to us about getting stunt work. So again, safety on set is really, really important. And you can find all of that information in our collective agreements. Our agreements include fair rates of pay for all different types of performance categories and session hours. So on-camera performers have an 8-hour session, for example. Those in qualifying categories, so that means not background, because qualifying categories, again, as we mentioned, principal, dancer, host, et cetera, they earn their work session fee, and they also earn use fees for the distribution of that content. The agreements also include payment timelines, and then just general working conditions about rehearsals, wardrobe, travel, etc. So, as a producer, you want to work with wonderful ACTRA talent. What are the next steps? So, first things first, contact ACTRA. That's step one. Please get in touch with us. Send us an email, give us a call, and let us know all about your production. What are you doing? Are you doing a short film? How many performers do you have, or how many characters do you have? Are you doing, a modern day love story, or are you doing a space opera? Are you doing a Western? Let us know what you're doing, and we can walk you through, according to your budget, which contract works best for you. Step two is you become signatory to the applicable agreement. And then step three, here's the really fun part, is you cast and go to camera. So it's as easy as lights, camera, ACTRA. So let's talk a little bit about the agreements. So I've mentioned the IPA a few times already tonight, but what is the Independent Production Agreement? Well, it is our main agreement that covers film, television, and digital media. ACTRA negotiates this agreement with the Canadian Media Producers Association and the AQPM. The type of productions covered in the IPA are film, television, animation, new media, documentary, industrial, and lifestyle. The IPA is on our website, so if you have any questions, please check it out or get in touch. I will talk a little bit about performance categories, a little bit about different articles in the IPA. So first things first, you can find the performance categories in Article A3 and definitions. A principal performer is someone with 6 or more lines. An actor is 5 or fewer. You'll find information on the workday for performers in Article A11, which is an 8-hour workday for on-camera, meal periods, working environment, performer rates. You can also find things like what type of performers are you hiring for your film? Are you hiring an animation performer, announcer, choreographer, chorus performer, dancer, host, narrator, puppeteer, because ACTRA covers puppeteers, stunt performers, vocal or dialogue coach, etc. Under performer rates, you'll find the fees payable to each performer, performance category, and as an example, in the 2025 Independent Production Agreement, the rate for a principal performer is $935.25. So the IPA is sort of our main agreement. I like to call it the parent agreement, but all of our low budget agreements are based on the IPA. So whenever the low budget contracts are silent, please do refer to the IPA. And again, all the agreements are on our website at actratoronto.com/agreements. So the first of our low budget agreements I'll chat about tonight is the Canadian Independent Production Incentives Program, aka CIPIP or CPIP. I prefer to say CIPIP. So what is CIPIP? It's found actually within the IPA. It's found in Appendix 18 of the IPA, and its purpose is to cover feature films, movies of the week, and TV series. And so there's a 15 to 45% discount on performer rates under the CIPIP language. And CIPIP was created to support independent Canadian productions. And under CIPIP, you can hire one non-Canadian. For example, if you're going to be hiring a SAG-AFTRA performer to be in the film. Next, let's talk about the ACTRA Toronto Low Budget Guideline, the LBG. Now, I know we shouldn't choose favorites, but the Low Budget Guideline is my favorite contract. And why? Well, the purpose of the Low Budget Guideline is to support emerging producers who want to work with emerging and diverse ACTRA performers under productions that have a relatively small budget. So it covers feature films and short films with budgets under $350,000. So here is how the tiers work under the ACTRA Toronto Low Budget Guideline. So a tier 1 production is a production, probably a feature, with a budget of $275,000 up to $350,000. The tier 2 production is $150,000 up to $274,900. Tier 3 is $50,000 up to $149,900, and tier 4 is under $50,000. So most short films are going to be under tier 4, but we have had some tier 3 as well. We also have a tier for Telefilm's Talent to Watch program. So if you have received funding for Telefilm's Talent to Watch and you have a certified budget under $275,000, you are under tier TTW. You can find all the information about the low budget guideline at actratoronto.com/low budget guideline. So here's an idea of the rates payable under the low budget guideline. So as I mentioned, under the independent production agreement, which is again the parent agreement, the full budget agreement, the rate for a principal performer is $935.25. So under the low budget guideline, you'll see that a principal performer for an 8-hour session earns, for example, if you're doing a short film under tier 4, $200 for an 8-hour session. I can't encourage folks enough to check our website, go to actratoronto.com/low budget guideline. The guideline is all there. We have a checklist there. We have all the information that you need to help apply to produce via the low budget guideline. It's such a wonderful, wonderful tool for shorts and feature films under $350,000. And I could spend probably a full hour talking about the low budget agreement, but we'll move on. Okay, next we have the ACTRA Toronto Web Indie Production Guideline. So this is our micro budget web series agreement. So it's specific to digital content only. We love WIP. It covers web series longer than 3 minutes, but no longer than 90 minutes in total, and that have total budgets of less than $3,875 per minute. So CIPIP, the low budget guideline, and WIP, you do have to apply for all of them because you are receiving incentivized rates to work with our members. But again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. When you're accessing the low budget contracts, it's still really important to refer to the parent agreement, the IPA, for information about working additions and safety on set. If you have minors, stunts, or intimate scenes in your script, please contact ACTRA because we can walk you through the process of how to contract performers. Safety is so important to ACTRA, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We will walk you through the process. Again, especially if you're working with children, if you're doing stunts or dangerous work, or you have any nude or intimate scenes, please reach out and I'm happy to have those conversations with you. Everyone deserves a safe and respectful work environment, whether you are in front of or behind the camera. The producer is responsible for creating a safe work environment for everyone, all cast and crew. We have information in the IPA about freedom from discrimination and harassment, and I do recommend to everyone to go to readthecode.ca, which is the Canadian Creative Industries Coalition Code of Conduct. You can see all of the signatories there. It's just a really good tool for creating a safe and respectful work environment for everyone. So ACTRA performers want to work with you. When you work with ACTRA talent, they can really, bring your script to life. And we want to talk to you. Our wonderful staff want to connect with you at ACTRA. So please don't hesitate to reach out. The website for ACTRA is, again, actratoronto.com. You can follow us on social at ACTRA Toronto. And my email address, if you want to get in touch with me, is tdecker@actratoronto.com. That's TDEKKER @actratoronto.com.
Awesome. Thank you. So I don't know if there's any other questions. If not, again, thanks so much, Teza. I really appreciate it. It was a great presentation. And
Thank you.
So I would like to announce our next workshop is happening in 2 weeks, July 24th, the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We will be having Front Row Insurance. They are a leading insurance provider in Canada. So we will be discussing what production insurance is, the type of coverage, or everything else that you need to know. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at info@scenestockrentals.com. And also, I think Teza shall hold the required information or contact info that you want. I think Jolene, she has a questions.
Fantastic. Yeah, Jolene, please don't hesitate to get in touch. My email address, everybody, is tdecker@actratoronto.com. More than happy to have a conversation. Thank you again, Sarah at SceneStock. It's so lovely to be here. And ACTRA Toronto feels very, very excited in that we are the first SceneStock session. So that's wonderful, and highly recommend checking out the Front Row Insurance session in a couple weeks. It's so key to understand insurance as a producer. So
awesome.
That's wonderful.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I'll make sure to send all the contact info to all the folks who joined the session. And again, I really appreciate it. And thanks again, everyone, for joining us tonight. If nothing else, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Awesome. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks.
Bye-bye now.